Right, 6 June 2020, and I'm joined by Mr. Brian Mubvumbi from the Democracy Restoration Party. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, Mr. Gambakwe. Revolutionary greetings to you and your listeners.
Do you think a government of national unity would be a good idea in Zimbabwe?
In my own opinion, Honorable Gambakwe, the government of national unity or a transitional government that involves the ruling party, ZANU-PF, is not going to work for the people of Zimbabwe. Given the history of what ZANU-PF has done to the people of Zimbabwe and to the economy.
But given the current reality, where ZANU-PF controls more than 75% of parliament and the opposition is failing to win elections, how then can we do without ZANU-PF?
It's been a very long time, Zimbabwe as a country settling for second best. Opposition does not mean MDC. But what we need to do right now as a country is to come together. Our only ticket, the only antidote to what ZANU-PF is doing is unity. Unity is imperative at this juncture. And the MDC should not be viewed as the only vehicle of change in Zimbabwe. There are so many other alternatives. We need to come together as leaders of various political parties, not to form an alliance, but to remove ZANU-PF in unity. If we are going to exercise our constitutionally given right to demonstrate, we must do it right in the streets of Zimbabwe and cause that country ungovernable. But when we come together as one, as the children of nature, that is the only way to uproot what ZANU-PF has established as a system. We also need to include other stakeholders like the civic organization, including various church leaders and the women and the youth groups. We come together, we sit down, and then we let the whole country rally behind us to make sure we uproot ZANU-PF on the basis of failure. And then we introduce a new system that would enhance our lives.
Okay, so what has been stopping the opposition from working together? At the moment, there is almost no efforts for the opposition in Zimbabwe to work together. When are these efforts to unite the opposition going to start?
Our greatest challenge, Mr. Gambakwe, we have to understand, first and foremost, is a very conservative society that we have. We should forego the career politician mentality that has occupied most of the people's minds. And we focus on unity. It doesn't matter who is going to be leading the next government. What matters right now is what happens to the people of Zimbabwe. The people in Zimbabwe, they are what matters at the moment.
Okay, how would that work? I'm trying to understand in detail. Is it possible to just remove ZANU-PF without first understanding them, working in the system? Because most of the people that you are talking about have never worked in government. Is it not better to first get into a system as a GNU, learn from the system, and then take over?
There is no government to talk about. They've actually diverged from the root of being a government to be an insane group of persons who are actually robbing what the people have worked for such a long time.
I agree that the ZANU-PF system is rotten. And as Mnangagwa says, they are the military, they are the government, they are the banking system, they are the judiciary. But what I'm saying to you is, how do you penetrate that system if you don't win elections?
We have to come to our senses, Honorable Gambakwe, and face the truth which shall bail us out of this position. Elections in Zimbabwe are not working on the basis of those very same elections being rigged time and again. People are being denied the right, the correct result that comes from those ballot boxes. What we need right now is a street protest, and that street protest should not be led by any political party. It should be led by the people of Zimbabwe, period. We are now going to get into a situation whereby our flag, the flag of Zimbabwe, that we pay homage to, is more important than anything. So we are saying, in short, elections are not working. and the revolution is imminent and it is allowed. The only thing that we are asking to the people is to understand that elections are ceremonial. What is the use of going to the election when the election will be stolen? MGC said the elections were not free and fair. They were rigged, but they went on to exercise parliamentary duties under the banner of MDCT. Whether it's MDCT Alliance or Coupe, it doesn't, I don't care. But basically, they become part of the government because parliament complements the government and vice versa. So they are equally guilty. Whatever is wrong right now that the government is doing, MDC is equally guilty.
Under the GNU, where Morgan Tsvangirai was prime minister, there was a lot of improvement in the Zimbabwean economy. Is it not time to consider another alternative instead of this politics of polarization?
It is indeed the time to consider another alternative. This politics of polarization is not working for Zimbabwe. You can take the best people to be working in the system, but still the system won't yield any results. I'll give you a very good example. Prior to the appointment of Mubvumbi, the Minister of Finance to the government of Emerson Mnangagwa, he was a high-profile, highly regarded economist in the country and in the region and the world over per se. But do you know what has come of him? Nothing. Why? Because ZANU-PF is in it. He is part of what is rot. What we must understand, the politics of Zimbabwe, the challenges that we have everything under dictatorship. Have you heard of command agriculture? There is command agriculture. You can have command agriculture, command voting, you understand? Everything is command living, command arrest, you know, frivolous charges being perpetrated and fostered on the civilians, the political players, year in, year out.
My understanding of what you're saying is that you're saying the problem is ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF must be removed totally. But I'm putting it to you that the opposition in Zimbabwe does not have the capacity to remove ZANU-PF. How do we solve that gap?
It is a myth. That's what some people would want to hear, even from the ruling party, ZANU-PF. That's what they want to hear. That you know, the people doesn't have the chance and the power to be removing ZANU-PF from power. ZANU-PF is just a political party that can be removed in power anytime. There's no mystery there that is hidden. I want to pose a single question. When they took power themselves, ZANU-PF, where did they get that power? Who gave them the right to pick up ammunition? I'm not saying people can pick up ammunition.
They managed to galvanize the people around a cause. The opposition in Zimbabwe is divided. They're busy fighting every day among themselves. How do you galvanize people when you're fighting daily?
ZANU-PF's life is finished. ZANU-PF is finished. That's what it is. What we are seeing right now is just the flying kicks of a dying horse.
Okay, but right now as we speak, Chamisa is out of Harvest House. His party is in tatters. So the main opposition that you're talking about has been decimated without even a single bullet being fired. Regardless of winning 2.6 million votes, they are not able to maintain a core, an organization themselves. How then do we have change without ZANU-PF if the opposition is so divided? There was a proposal by religious organizations last year to suspend elections for 7 years. What is your view on that?
We can suspend elections for 7 years or longer or shorter. But what we need to see is the next election being conducted in a manner that is free and fair. The reason for suspending elections is to level the playing field. We need electoral reforms first before people, you know, participate in any electoral process. So at the moment, we know we've got certain legislations, statutory instruments that ZANU-PF has ratified as a governing party that is solely established to stop people from getting them out of office. So they're actually ruling and leading by decree, which is problematic in its nature, especially when we're talking about democracy.
Okay, is that not why we should have a government of national unity, so that you can actually influence events from inside the government?
We need to revolt, to be on the streets and demand the resignation of Emerson Mnangagwa as the head of state, and we demand the complete dissolving of the parliament and the government. Then what we need to see happening is the ushering in of a transitional government with a lifetime enough, ample enough to be leveling the playing, the political playing field, so that the electoral processes can be reformed. Anything short of that, then we are not going to accept. Mnangagwa must know that in resignation, he wouldn't have been committing any crime. You understand? But we know why they don't want to resign. All of them, they are afraid of punitive actions. But it's better to have punitive actions that are constitutional than other. They must actually know the repercussions of what is going to happen if people don't take it lightly and remove them by force, which is not a nice thing to happen. But we have seen it elsewhere happening. We need to avoid that. And for that to be avoided, the head of state and the cronies around him must consider to hang their boots and give chance to the democratic space that everyone can enjoy. That will be a win-win situation for everybody.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Brian Mubvumbi from the Democracy Restoration Party. This has been a very, very clear interview. You have said that ZANU-PF and Idi Mnangagwa must vacate office before even a consideration of working together. You have said that the opposition must unite and every Zimbabwean must work towards that goal for change to happen. Thank you very much for joining me today. We'll talk again another day. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Yeah, what I want to say in closing is, we as the people of Zimbabwe cannot continue to live in this manner anymore. Zimbabwe should not be allowed to move forward before the current situation has been changed. We cannot continue to live on the mercies of other civilization. It's not acceptable. Thank you, Honorable Gambagwe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mubvumbi. And if you're watching this on WhatsApp, send it to as many people as possible. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, please like, comment, and share.